The year is 166 million years ago. The air is humid, the forests thick with cycads, ferns, and towering conifers. Rivers wind through what is now southern England, teeming with live fish, crocodile-like reptiles, and small early mammals hiding beneath the roots. Suddenly the forest goes silent. The ground vibrates with heavy, rhythmic steps. A shadow moves between the trees, powerful legs, a long tail, and jaws filled with knives. This is Megalosaurus bucklandi, the first dinosaur ever named by science, and one of the original rulers of the Jurassic world. The name Megalosaurus means great lizard, from the Greek megas, great, and sauros, lizard. It was named in 1824 by the British geologist William Buckland, making it the first dinosaur to be scientifically described, decades before the word dinosaur even existed. At the time, it changed everything, revealing that the Earth had once been ruled by immense, long-extinct creatures. Megalosaurus lived during the Middle Jurassic period around 166 million years ago in what is now Europe. It belonged to the group Theropoda, the same lineage that would later give rise to giants like Allosaurus and Tyrannosaurus rex. Though smaller than those later predators, Megalosaurus was still a formidable hunter, an early blueprint for the carnivorous dinosaurs that would dominate the Mesozoic era. It reached lengths of around 9 meters, 30 feet, and weighed up to 1.5 tons. Its body was built for balance and agility, strong hind legs for sprinting, a long counterbalancing tail, and muscular arms ending in 3 sharp claws. Its head, nearly a meter long, was equipped with curved serrated teeth, ideal for slicing through flesh. Megalosaurus's temperament was that of a bold and opportunistic predator. It hunted mid-sized herbivores, such as Sishusaurus and Lixivisaurus, ambushing them near riverbanks or forest clearings. Fossilized bones show deep bite marks, consistent with the tearing, shearing action of its jaws. But Megalosaurus was also a scavenger, feeding on carcasses whenever the opportunity arose, proof that survival often belonged not to the strongest, but to the smartest. Its movement was dynamic and balanced. Running on 2 legs, its long tail provided stability, while its body leaned slightly forward, a design perfected by later carnivorous dinosaurs. Each step was calculated, each strike precise. It was the first of its kind to display the predatory elegance that would define the great hunters of prehistory. Its senses were sharp and specialized, with forward-facing eyes for depth perception, a strong sense of smell, and keen hearing. Megalosaurus was a perfect tracker. It could detect prey long before being seen itself, and when it attacked, there was little chance of escape. As one of the earliest large theropods, Megalosaurus represented the dawn of a new evolutionary era, the rise of predatory dominance on land. It was among the first carnivores to perfect the 2-legged hunting stance that would later define the great meat-eaters of the Cretaceous. But unlike later species such as Allosaurus or Tyrannosaurus rex, Megalosaurus lived in a world still testing the limits of size and power. Its hunting behavior was likely that of an ambush predator. Fossil evidence from Jurassic Europe suggests that dense vegetation and riverine environments provided the perfect setting for surprise attacks. Megalosaurus could have waited patiently in the shadows before charging forward with explosive speed, slashing at prey with its claws and jaws, then retreating as the victim weakened from blood loss. This attack method relied on precision and timing, not brute force. Its long, muscular legs allowed for short bursts of speed, while its robust tail acted as a counterbalance for agile movement. Once it locked onto its target, there was no mercy. The curved teeth, each with sharp serrations, functioned like a row of steak knives, tearing through flesh with each bite. Its diet included herbivorous dinosaurs like Sishusaurus, early stegosaurs, and smaller reptiles. It may also have preyed upon injured or juvenile sauropods, as well as scavenging carcasses left behind by floods or other predators. In a time before apex predators dominated ecosystems, Megalosaurus sat near the top of the food chain, sharing its territory with smaller carnivores like Eustreptospondes. Regarding social behavior, Megalosaurus was likely a solitary hunter, though temporary gatherings around food sources may have occurred, much like modern crocodiles. There is no clear evidence of pack hunting in early theropods, but competition among individuals would have been fierce. Territorial disputes may have involved threat displays, open jaws, roars, and tail movements, to avoid physical combat that could cause fatal injuries. Its intelligence relative to its time was advanced. The structure of its brain case suggests strong development in the regions responsible for sight and coordination. Megalosaurus could plan attacks, gauge distance, and adjust its movements mid-hunt, traits that made it far more than a brute killer. It was a strategic predator, an early experiment in evolution's playbook that would later be perfected by its descendants. The environment of Middle Jurassic Europe was a warm, humid world of islands and lagoons. Lush vegetation covered floodplains and massive sauropods moved through forests like living mountains. Pterosaurs soared overhead, and the calls of amphibians echoed through dense jungles. In this thriving ecosystem, Megalosaurus was the top hunter, shaping the balance of life through its predation. It was not the biggest, nor the fastest, but it was the first, the pioneer of the predator-esque throne that would last for millions of years. The story of Megalosaurus is not only the tale of an ancient predator, it's also the beginning of paleontology itself. Its fossils were the first dinosaur bones ever studied and recognized as belonging to a creature entirely unlike any living animal. The first known bones of Megalosaurus were discovered in Oxford, England in the early 19th century, though some reports suggest pieces had been found even earlier, as far back as the 1600s, when locals believed they belonged to biblical giants or dragons. It wasn't until 1824 that Reverend William Buckland, a geologist at Oxford University, formally described the species as Megalosaurus bucklandi. This was the first time in human history that a large extinct reptile was described using scientific methods. Later, in 1842, the British anatomist Sir Richard Owen used Megalosaurus, along with Iguanodon and Hylaeosaurus, to coin the word Dinosauria, meaning terrible lizards. In many ways, Megalosaurus was the spark that ignited the entire field of dinosaur science. The remains of Megalosaurus, jawbones, vertebrae, limbs, and partial skulls reveal a powerful, adaptable predator. Unlike earlier reptiles, it had the posture, strength, and balance of a true hunter. Its discovery proved that Earth had once been home to animals of unimaginable scale, changing forever how humanity viewed the history of life. As for its extinction, Megalosaurus disappeared around 164 million years ago, near the end of the Middle Jurassic. Environmental changes, new competitors, and evolving prey likely played a role in its decline. But it did not vanish without legacy. It left behind descendants that would evolve into Torvosaurus, Allosaurus, and eventually the mighty Tyrannosaurs of the Cretaceous. Today, Megalosaurus stands not only as a relic of the Jurassic, but as a symbol of discovery, a creature that bridged the ancient and the modern, the mythical and the scientific. It reminds us that even the greatest predators can also be pioneers. So imagine the primeval forests of ancient England, humid air, the sound of insects, the tremor of footsteps approaching through the mist. A massive shadow moves between the trees, nostrils flaring, jaws parting in a low, guttural growl. The first great hunter steps into the light, Megalosaurus, the original king of the dinosaurs. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, comment what you like the most, and share it with someone who needs to hear this too.